Welcome to the Sacred Conversations with the Gigantic Intellect. I'm calling these conversations sacred mainly due to their therapeutic, due to their reflective impact upon me. Lately, I've been feeling excessive emotions in relation to what has been happening both in class and out of class. I've felt the type of anger that I've never felt even before, which I believe in a way is going to attract a lot of diseases for me. The question that I've been asking myself is, where is the origin? What is the origin of these emotions? Where are they coming from? Where are they emanating from? Why am I suddenly feeling this excessive anger upon the things that are happening? I consider myself to be a lover of African people. I love African people and I want them to be prosperous among the nations of the world. And what annoys me and what frustrates me is the fact that they're seemingly not working towards changing anything. And as a logical person, I then ask myself, but why do I expect people to change? For society cannot all have the same mentalities. There are those people that will just never change. And why am I forcing them to change? I think I must come to the point where I say I cannot change everyone. As much as I love African people, as much as I want African people to change in their mentality and their outlook on life, but I cannot change everyone. And I must see that as a reality, as something that cannot be changed. Of course, when you are preaching the gospel, there are those that are going to hear your message, and there are those that are going to misconstrue the message, that are going to misinterpret the message that you are saying. Other people would accuse you of being hateful towards them. Other people would accuse you of being oppressive upon them. And those are the things that we're being accused of, to say you are an oppressive person, you don't give us time to breathe. I believe I'm a dynamic person, I'm a different person. That is the reason the type of people that I love are mostly not loved by society. The likes of Andre Tate, who is hated by many people, and equally loved by many people who are like me. I love the Andre Tate way of teaching. I love Thomas' way of teaching. And those teaching says that you must be hard on society when you're leading it. Because being softer would make, in fact, society very weak. And if you are to make a society strong, you must be hard on them. If you look at African people, of course, we've got a very sad history of slavery. We've got a very history of apartheid, oppression and whatever. Despite the fact that those systems were very oppressive upon African people, but they have built them to be very strong people. If you look, people who were living before democracy, before 1994, they had a very different wiring. They had a very different mentality, and their mentality was self-determination. For they were living in a world that was very tough, and it needed people that were very tough in their outlook upon life, who were not snowflakes. And what I begin to realize about the society that we're having is we're having a society of snowflakes, people who are very weak, people who are always gravitating and striving towards hedonistic pleasures. That is what is driving us as a society. We're not driven by responsibility, we're driven by the need to be happy. For me, which happiness, it's something that I despise so much. I hate happiness. Other people may say I hate happiness due to my perhaps psychological past things that have happened in the past in relation to happiness. I don't know. But what I see the life of struggle as a life worth living for, because it teaches people to have responsibility. Happiness doesn't teach any responsibility. In fact, it teaches people to be very weak, to be very irresponsible. So for me, I love working. I love to see myself occupied a lot of the time, and a lot of the time I'm very occupied. And that's the type of life that I love living, because when I study the life of successful people, they speak much about the importance of living a life of hard work, being industrious. So the life of happiness, they speak very negative about the life of happiness. Hence, how can I disregard the advice of people who have made it in life and go for the advice of people who have not made it in life? For the majority of the people who are endorsing the life of happiness, majority of them are not happy. But the majority of the people who are endorsing the life of struggle, majority of them are happy. At least in my reality, I see that. I see the people who are preaching responsibility as people that are very successful in their lives, and I see the people who are pursuing pleasure, pursuing hedonistic pleasures, as people who are miserable. And I don't want to be miserable. And as someone who loves the African people, I also don't want my people to be miserable. I'd rather be hated for my ideas than to be loved for something that is going to kill society. That is the type of life that I don't want to live that type of life. And if I'm going to be hated, of course, all human beings want to be loved, but I don't want to just say things that are loved by society and that are not going to build the society. I want to come across as someone who say things that are perhaps difficult, but that are going to build society. And what I begin to realize is, because I surround myself intellectually with people like Thomas Sowell, with people like Malcolm X, with people like Andrew Tate, with people who are very responsible in their outlook upon life. And I look upon those people and they are inspiring me on a daily basis. They're keeping me going because they're teaching me the life of responsibility, and I love them for that reason. And anyone who's going to teach me a life that is not gearing me towards responsibility, I hate that person. Hence, in my space, I'm going to preach those principles. And if I'm hated for those principles, if I'm killed for those principles, then let it be. But I'm not going to stop having or living a life of responsibility. This is V Nation, the gigantic intellect. Know thyself and remember your ancestors. Peace.